I wanted to play this year, but I'm not gonna be able to do that. I got to bypass it this time.
It's gonna be on camera?
Actually, we use this as a backup for the audio, but we usually put a little bit of the video on the website.
Okay, so you might wanna take off your hat. So
I
people see
think-
just how handsome you are.
To see the beautiful skull. Oh gosh. The guy was giving me a haircut, Carolyn. And he said, well, I want to cut you short, the split ends. I said, go ahead. And I'm sitting there, and he's snipping. He said, well, I want to get on this side. I said, okay. He said, then right here. I should have known then he was shopping me down when he started talking about the front of it. And the next thing I knew, he turned, he said, how do you like this? And I'm going,
What happened to my hair?
what happened to my damn hair? I said, you cut all my pickets and everything. Oh, but no, my granddaughter said she likes it. She said,
Yeah, that's very nice.
yeah, she said, Granddad, I like it. I said, you do? She said, yeah. She said, don't show all that hair down your neck. And that's okay. Okay, baby. Okay. Let's keep it quiet now. Yeah. How's that? Okay. Dum, bum, bum, bum.
Somebody shot it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're gonna buy it, huh?
No, I had to piddle at it.
Uh-huh. I heard.
No, I did.
It's in good tune. Someday we be together. Get off my note. Get off my note. Get off my note now. Don't do that. Don't do. See, you and Carolyn are not gonna get me in trouble because I'm not gonna do this. Now you're not gonna get me in trouble. It's the. Oh. That's $3 million right there. Every time you do that, it's $1 million. That's a 2.
But your best line
That's
was,
3.
And then she said, no, it wasn't about the money. And Florence Bell had, so my answer was Florence children and everything. So I said, fine, then take the money and give it to Florence's children.
That'll be good. Yeah, that'll be nice. Or either give it to the other girl.
No, you know what it was all about? I know what it was. She wanted to sing the lead on some, no, I swear.
Some of the songs. Oh.
And Diana Ross said,
Well, she was producing it and everything.
it's my money, first of all. You never seen me in
You need levels and such?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can go over your little road map.
Yeah, Sam, we're gonna play about anywhere from 6 to 9 recordings in the hour. They'll be dropped in post-production.
Really? Okay.
There's this rule, if you stream on the internet, that you can't play more than 4 commercially released recordings by the same artist in a 3-hour period.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
Is that something new?
Well,
that's
it went,
That's what the broadcasters did, so that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
it went into effect in April of last year.
Is that right?
Yeah. But, like with everything else,
Yeah.
ways around it are, if you play, I'm going to play one of the tracks that you did with Bruce on Human Touch. That counts separately.
Okay.
What have you got on the soundtrack of Only the Strong Survive?
Something is wrong.
Something is wrong and Soul Man.
And hold on, I'm coming, he's now on the DVD.
All right, the one I'd like to do from there then is Something's Wrong.
Okay.
It's great, it's a great live version of it.
Was there a duet with Rod Stewart?
No.
No.
Rod Stewart? No.
What are you thinking of?
He said, I don't know.
He doesn't know.
He didn't know. No.
When they did Maybe May together, it was.
No, I did. No, I did the duet. Do you think I'm sexy? You like that?
You were on
I'm gonna
that.
stop.
You,
No, I'm gonna
you,
stop.
you,
I got it. You look at me a little too serious. You're right. Okay. Okay.
So that's basically it. The stuff will be done
Okay.
Producer Bill will drop everything in post-production, so we'll just go straight through.
Producer Bill, I like that. All right. PB.
So, you need me?
Yeah,
Okay. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mixed Bag Radio. This is Pete Fornatale at the Gibson Baldwin Showroom in New York City, and today we're going to do something a little bit different.
Can I move you a little over to the right?
A little to the right, like so? Closer to, or?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mixed Bag Radio. This is Pete Fornatale at the Gibson Baldwin Showroom in New York City, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Okay? And you've got our guest. Here we go. I'm just going to check. I got 350. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mixed Bag Radio. This is Pete Fornatale at the Gibson Baldwin Showroom in New York City, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a guided tour of some great American soul music with one of its greatest practitioners, Sam Moore. We'll be talking to Sam right after we listen to his first major hit with Dave Prater on Mixed Bag Radio. That's Sam and Dave on Mixed Bag Radio with Hold On, I'm Comin', a monster hit back in 1966. Sam, what are the ingredients that turned that song into such a big hit for you back
I
then?
couldn't tell you, Pete. For the life of me, I couldn't tell you.
No recipe.
No, if there was such thing as a recipe, you would. I guess it's the way it was put together. Because when it was first put out, radio being radio in those days, you couldn't be that suggestive. You know, they didn't like that.
Right.
And it didn't come out, hold on, I'm coming. It just came out, I'm coming. And the FCC said, no. You can't do that.
You had problems then getting airplay initially?
Atlantic had problems at that time. So Tom Dowd, that was with Atlantic at the time, brought it back, brought the mix back down. Mm-hmm. And he said, you're going to have to do much better than this because they're not going to accept it like this. Because when you listen to the words, don't you ever feel bad, lean on me, that was not in there. It was, feel on me or something to that, when, times are bad, And we had to change the first verses we had to change. They had to change for us.
Well, that's so interesting to me because now you perform it with a gospel choir.
Yeah.
I happen to be lucky enough to hear the version that you did recently at the charity concerts, the Christmas charity concerts, which we'll talk about later on. And one can certainly put it in that category of songs like "Lean on Me," like "Reach Out,
absolutely,
I'll Be There."
Absolutely, absolutely.
But it certainly captured an audience for it. That was the first really big hit.
The biggest of the biggest at that time.
We're going to take things back to the beginning and see if we can work our way forward. And in that vein, my first question to you is, what was the King of Hearts Club and why was it important to you?
The King of Hearts Club. Wow, you're going back some, Peter. That was one of the first clubs where, before I got with Dave, I was hired as, through being a little liar and a dare, to take a chance of working in a club as an MC, a comic, and a singer, and MC to bring on the Wednesday night audience to, the crowds to sing, like to do it at American Idol and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Now that you mention it, I remember that there's a story connected with your audition, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a lie and a dare with, when you're trying to impress your buddies, and there was a sign in the window of the club, which at the time turned from a country club into a soul nightclub in a predominantly white section of Miami.
Which is where you were born and raised?
Yes, yes, yes. Primarily raised. And I went in and I spoke to the guy, and he asked me what was my qualifications, and I told him. He said, "You ever did MC work?" Yes. And you know how to tell jokes? Yes. Where? And I told some lie on the beach, Fontainebleau. He said, "Oh, really? Okay. When can you come back?" "Whenever you want me." He said, "Tomorrow night." I came back the next night, and I did okay. I took the names down and whatnot, and then it was time for me to tell some jokes. Well, the only joke I knew at the time was knock, knock, and they're going, "Who's there?" And, oh, God, it was awful. And I only knew one song because, you understand, I come from a gospel background.
Right.
And I did Danny Boy, You Never Smile Again. It wasn't working too well, And Jackie Wilson, at the time, after leaving the Dominoes, he had Rags to Riches, so I knew that. So I sang that. And then I told another, Knock, Knock, Who's There? And the owner of the club that became Dave and my, manager soon after, said to me, "Look, don't sing. Don't tell jokes. You sound stupid.
You're not funny.
You're not funny.
But
Don't tell jokes."
He heard the singing part, though, didn't he?
The singing part, he was not even that impressed. No, he really wasn't that impressed with.
Well, I'm assuming that you hadn't found your own secular voice yet, so to speak.
I still had that gospel,
Yeah.
just stand there and yodel and sing, and that was it. I hadn't gotten my legs up under me, so I really wasn't that sure about myself as being that kind of a performer. And I'd even consider myself a performer. I consider myself just being an MC, sing and bring the acts on and get off the stage. So I hadn't got my legs under me.
Your daddy was a preacher, so I am assuming that
Yes.
church music was your entry into
Yes.
into the music world.
Yes.
Who would you say was the greatest influence in the transition from church music to secular music? Was it the man you already mentioned, Jackie?
Jackie was Sam was, after Sam left the Soul Stirrers, and I was invited to try out for the Soul Stirrers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Jackie had already made it, away from the Dominoes. He had Rags to Riches and To Be Loved and all this stuff. I had heard about Jackie. I hadn't seen him. But Sam was the one. So when Sam left and I heard what Sam was doing and how he had tried to disguise his voice and doing wonderful, and when she turned into lovable, and I said, well, that's what I'm going to do that. But the influence was when I went to see Jackie, I saw this sign at this club at the Night Beat. And I went by and I saw that, and I said, my God, it's Jackie Wilson. You get a chance to hear this voice, hear this guy sing. Never seen him act, perform. And I got a chance to, I'm in the neighborhood, so I can get in the club free. And I went in and I sat. And when this guy came out, the women were just screaming and yelling every move he made. Well, you would have thought I was a woman too, because I was screaming and jumping. Oh my God, look at him! Look, he's on the floor. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. I'm going to sing like. And the people are looking at me, and I think they kind of thought, this guy, he is kind of. We don't know. We kind of out to lunch on him. But. I soon after, forgetting that I have a partner, I have a partner. I forgot all about that. But I became I watched this man. I watched every nuance that he ever did. And I watched and I learned everything, not the voice, because I knew I couldn't sing like that.
The moves.
I learned every move and could do them. I'm a young fella then, and I could do all the falls and the springs and because I was a fighter at one time too. So I became a professional on Jackie Wilson. And I went
Wow.
back, and I was supposed to go out with the Soul Stirrers, as I told you. I didn't go out with the Soul Stirrers.
Mr. Excitement was just one of his nicknames.
Yeah, and he was exciting.
Now, I understand that there's even a Jackie Wilson connection to your teaming up with Dave. Some song that he was doing and forgot the words to, is that right?
Here in New York City, we were recording for Roulette Records, and Henry Glover, that was the producer for Sam and Dave at the time, from Roulette. We had finished doing, some songs and whatnot, and Jackie was there. He came into the studio because he had heard we were there, and he came by, and we went back to the hotel. He said, "Look, I got the song. We can get it down. I want you to sing the song." Jackie was not the one to say, "Would you like to sing?" "No, you're going to sing it. You're going to sing the song." What are you, And he ran it down to me. He sang it down. Played, he had a guy to play the guitar. And we went back over to the studio that next night. And he talked with Henry Glover, and Henry Glover made a rhythm track to it. And we went in the studio. And Dave was having problems at the time because where Jackie had the key, where he was singing, it wasn't high, but it was too high for Dave, So he said, "Well, I want Sam to take the lead." So I turned around and started singing the lead. And he stayed in the studio, and when you listen to it, if you go back and if there's an old copy anywhere around, you'll hear Jackie in the background singing. He's doing that little.
Oh, that's great.
And it was really great, how it came out.
That's like, what does that just remind me of? Bring It On Home to Me, which was by Sam, has Lou Rawls
Absolutely.
on the background. And
Absolutely.
I didn't know that at the time, but years later, when you go back and listen to it, it gives it a whole
new appreciation.
You've given me some homework here. I'm going to go back and find Jackie.
Absolutely.
I'm going to find Jackie.
It's called "It's All Right."
It's all right.
It's all right.
I was actually referring to something that happened even earlier than that, probably at the King of Hearts Club, where Dave was on stage doing Doggin' Around.
Dogging around, go ahead.
And he went up on the lyrics, and you fed them to him.
Oh, that was Dave. I did that. I did that with Dave. Dave had came to the club, come over to the King of Hearts.
Did you know each other at that point?
No, I had heard about him, but I heard about this young man that sounded like. At first, they said he sounded like Jackie Wilson. Then it turned from Jackie Wilson to Sam Cooke. And, I was interested because I'm interested in both of these guys, and I know them very well, And I said, well, one day, whenever I get a chance, maybe, I'll go see this, catch him at one of these amateur hours. But it so happened he came to the club where I was the MC, and I recognized the name. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Prater." "Is that your first name or your last? What's your name?" "Dave Prater." I said, "Oh," we went on from there. And when we got on, a young lady was on stage, and she sang, Eloy Swarman, singing young lady. She sounded like Aretha, so she was great. Then I called Dave. And after this young lady got finished singing, Dave wasn't going to win anyway, but anyway, the guy had to go up on the stage. So I called him, and I said, he's going to sing this song, Dogging Me Around. And the guy gave him this big official, you better stop. And he did good. He really, you better stop your dogging me around. Oh, what? Don't sound like Jackie. Doesn't sound like Sam. But that's okay. But when he got to the verses, can't help it much longer. When he went there, he went, can't help it much longer.
And froze?
That's what I'm doing. He froze. The band, the rhythm section stopped. I stopped. Because usually I don't stay on stage when the artist is up there, the actor up there. And I turned around and he was just, now he's sweating.
Wow.
You understand? He's really laughing. And he has a process, and the process is getting, like small. The process is going back to recess. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking, and I see this guy's really getting to freak, So I walked up and I said, and people are screaming, get him off, get him off. So I said, look, I know the song. I'll step in and help you. I can't sing with you, but I'll help you. You don't know the verse. He said, I said, I know the word. Everything that I say, you say it. Just because I'm saying, give him a chance and blah, blah, blah. Bring him back. So he went all over again. And when he got to where I said, can't help it. Can't help it. Wait long. And I'm trying, I'm trying to get my, my foot is getting in the car. I'm trying to get my foot out. And I'm trying to back up. And as I'm putting my foot back, the cord is wrapped, and the mic is going, now my hair is not doing that, but I'm sweating. And my eyes are getting about the sides of this room, and I'm trying to lean with one arm to get, and he's going down to get it because he's nervous and he wants to do something. And the audience thought that was the act.
Oh, wow.
And for the next 21, 22, maybe 21 years, Sam and Dave was Sam and Dave.
Wow. So in a weird way,
Yeah.
the duo was born in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific.
Not by choice,
Before we get too far away from it, I said that this would be a guided tour of great American soul music. I can't believe this, but it will be 40 years this year that we lost Sam Cooke. Is there a favorite song of his that you have that we should play, or is there a Sam Cooke song that you've recorded that we could play?
I did record. Well, I recorded a song that he had written for the Sims twins. But before it became a song for the Sims twins, it was a gospel song called Save Me, Jesus, Save Me, which turned out to be Soothe Me, Baby, Soothe Me.
That's on the best of.
Yes.
Let's listen on Mixed Bag Radio. That's great because that'll show the connection between.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh. That is Soothe Me, written by Sam Cooke, performed by Sam and Dave from their Best Of album. This is Pete Fornatale on Mixed Bag Radio. I'll have more with the great Sam Moore right after this. One segment down, two to go.
Okay.
All right, let me see where
You're going way back on me, Pete. Wow. Some of these things I'm having to remember hard.
Dig deep.
I'm digging deep.
Digging deep. I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. All right, let's pick up with part two. Pete Fornatale back with you on Mixed Bag Radio with my special guest today, Sam Moore. Sam, we've established that you spent your growing up years in Miami, but you are so identified with Memphis and the Stax Volt sound. How did the boy from Miami get to Memphis?
I don't know. Dave and I, Dave Prater, and I, we were signed to Atlantic. That's the contract.
Here in New York?
Yes. When we signed the contract, we signed it in California, but yes, we were signed to Atlantic here in New York. And we were then, at the time, I called it being shipped. Being shipped. We were shipped down to Memphis. And I tell you, as much as I knew about Memphis, I knew country and the blues, and I really wasn't all that gun-ho about it, you know. Kind of sad, but, you know, hey, you're getting ready to go record. You signed a contract, and so we went down there and to Memphis, Tennessee, and I remember the people that we first met, Jim Stewart, Al Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
Steve Cropper, you know, and pretty happy when I saw these people. You know, Jim Stewart, which turned out to be the engineer and part owner of Stax.
He's the ST
He's
of
the,
Stax.
Stewart, yes,
Right,
and his
and
sister.
Axton, I
Axton,
think.
yeah.
She's the AX.
Right.
People don't know that.
People don't know that,
Excuse me.
yeah.
I think they think in terms of stacks.
I
of,
know,
of
no,
records.
it's a brother and sister.
And it was an
Brother
old,
and sister-in-law, if you, however you put it, you want to do it.
It was an old converted movie
Theater.
Yeah.
Yes. And I could have lived with that. That was fine.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. But what got to me was they were waiting on Isaac Hayes to come around to the studio. And as I was standing there, Dave and I had just gotten out of the cab, you know, and Mr. Stewart says, "Oh, here comes Isaac now." And I looked, you know, and I went, oh, the water first came into my, tears bulged up into my eyes. This guy had hair, and he had this beard, you know, like so. And he had on this, I think it was pink, see-through net-like shirt, Peter. And he had chartreuse pants, you know, and a white belt. And I went down, and he had on pink socks and white shoes. And I went, "Dave, this is it. What have we gotten ourselves into? Call Jerry, call somebody. We got to get out of here." And Jim Stewart said, No. This is going to be one of your producers. One of the producers. Is anyone else like him? I'm saying to myself. And round the corner, here comes Dave Porter with this little stingy brim hat. During the daytime, he's an insurance man, going from house to house, selling insurance with pal pushers pants on and shoes and with holes in the bottom. And I'm going, well, what are we? What are they doing to us? You know? And he says, "Hi, I'm Dave Prayer." What? I'm Dave. I said, "Prayer, what?" He said, "Oh, I'm Dave Porter." I said, "Okay." And he had a lot of teeth, right? Oh boy, I knew we were in trouble. So we went inside, and then they started playing some songs, introducing songs so that we were going to record, not to see if we wanted to record them, but to record them.
Mm-hmm.
We had no clout, never did. And they played Jody Ryder. "Can't you find another way of doing it, baby? Can't you?" So, Lord have mercy. Now, you got to understand, Peter, my mind is set to Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, Little Willie John, you know, people like that, Benton, you know. Oh, man, what are you doing? I don't know what's going on, you know. And I didn't like any of these songs, but we stuck it out. And
There must have been a moment, though, where it clicked, where the idea of the songs that they were giving you and the production that they were production and musicians that they were surrounding you with were the perfect vehicle for Sam and Dave, yeah?
They relied more, and I didn't know it then, but they were relying more on, at first, trying to get Dave and I to harmonize. And that wasn't working very well, because Dave and I would never harmonized. Like the Everly Brothers or the Righteous Brothers. We blended, but we never harmonized.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yes.
when that didn't work, then what they did, they started putting in a third verse of a song. And they would have an instrumental to where we would go back to the top, and then I would do all the dynamics and the voice and all that. And when they discovered that, when Isaac discovered that, and also the rest of the staff, then they started relying, which is so sad. They started relying more on my voice. That became an albatross with Dave, because where I actually was comfortable singing at that time, up in the ceiling if need be, because it was easy for me, it wasn't easy for my partner. So they had to be very careful how they designed the song. So a lot of times I would come off the road, and they had to wait sometime 10 days before I could sing.
Wow.
Because we had been on the road. So they wanted that clarity, but they also wanted that raw, rough. And I gave them that, but they didn't know that it actually was straining me. So a lot of the early stuff that you'll hear, you don't hear clarity in it. You hear roughness, just rough, like I'm angry, and they say that was Sam and Dave, but actually that wasn't, because I was straining to compensate how they were designing the songs.
And I'm sure it had an impact on the dynamic of the duo, which we'll talk more about in a bit, but you anticipated one of my questions. The two giant hit-making machines in the 60s were Motown out of Detroit and Stax Volt out of Memphis. How would you characterize the differences between what Motown was doing, excuse me, between what Motown was doing and what Stax Volt was doing?
That's a good question, because, and I'll tell you why. We started, I did, was focusing in on more as to what Motown was doing. And that was not getting us anywhere, because now you find yourself competing against Motown. And you got writers coming in there, got Motown stuff, Chicago stuff, Miami stuff, and they're throwing songs at us that a lot of those songs that they were introducing, although Hayes and Porter is our producers, but a lot of those songs that they were introducing to us, they did not fit. I'll be the first to tell you, they did not fit. And they had to throw those out. And I remember them saying to me, they called me on the carpet one day and said, look, stop worrying about what Motown is doing. Concentrate on what we are doing here, or what we are trying to do for you guys. Don't focus on what Marvin is doing, Marv Johnson is doing. Stop focusing. Let us hear you. You sing, let Dave catch. You understand? You pitch, Dave catch. We don't want to hear any more about, Marvin Gaye is doing this, Tammy Rell is doing this, do-overs and whatnot, Mary Wilson. So I got down to, so they focused more on writing. And the answer to your question about what songs, I think it was about the fifth song that I started appreciating more of the writing of Hayes and Porter. I think I liked, I take what I want, you don't know like I know. I started coming into saying, okay, trying to harmonize. And that was the last time I tried to stay there, to sing here and put Dave in another, and Isaac would sing Dave's part where he wanted Dave to stay. It would have worked if he'd have stayed there. If he would have stayed there, it would have worked. But as the years came about. People in his ear, hey, you know how people can be sometimes. They can be very vicious.
Oh, yeah.
But I started about the fifth song in coming into my own.
The epitome of your success in those days came in '67 with an anthem that speaks as loudly and clearly in this new century as it did back then, and that, of course, is Soul Man. Did you know? Were you good at knowing when you had a piece of material that was going to grab the audience? You didn't hear it that way?
No. But, I just found out that Soul Man was really an anthem of, it was political.
Uh-huh.
It really was. You hear a lot of coming to you on a dust road and all of that, but you got to focus in on what the story was all about and the struggle that was going about at the time.
Sure.
The reason people like that song today, and I have found out, is it's a song, you were going through the struggle of civil rights and the freedoms and all this stuff and the marches and whatnot, but people would come see Sam, they sang that, and they would walk out either humming, singing, dancing. They may have walked in there with a struggle on their mind, worrying about whether they're going to get their next meal, or the house being burned down when they got back home from the Klan or whatnot. But when you walked out from our show, you felt good about yourself.
That's very interesting because
Yeah.
on the one hand, you had Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions singing
Absolutely.
"Keep on Pushing,"
Yes.
and on the other hand, you had James Brown
Yes.
with "I'm Black and I'm Proud."
Which he never said.
That's not the.
If you'll notice, he'll say it loud.
Yeah,
Okay, like I say to you, Peter, say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Did I say it?
You've given me more homework now. Will you cut that out? My point, though, is that in the middle of that, there's Sam and Dave with Soul Man on Mixed Bag Radio. I think we got a cue for that one. Oh, gosh. That's Sam and Dave and their classic recording from 1967, number 1 on the R&B charts, number 2 on the pop charts, Soul Man, a song that has enjoyed a couple of lives since then, not the least of which was its revitalization by the Blues Brothers. Now, I have to ask you, when you first became aware of the Blues Brothers, and what you thought about all of that.
I just thought they were good on Saturday Night Live. I really enjoyed it. Every Saturday I would watch John and Danny. When they were doing, when John was doing Joe Cocker and I liked the bees and the cornhead. I liked all that stuff. I did. And then the first time they did Soul Man with the glasses and the hat and the suits, I thought, wow, that's neat. That's great.
As funny as the image of the two of them was, they were absolutely dead serious about their music.
Yeah.
Brought your guys along
yeah.
to back them up.
And that was Danny. Danny did all this.
Yeah.
Danny did all this. And it bothered, at the time, it bothered Dave. It really did. Oh, Dave was livid. I mean, I was more livid because I got angry because we were number 1 in the R&B charts and going to number 1 in the pop side, and here comes a song going, "To Serve with Love," and I was blaming my friend at the time, which is Sidney. At home we called him Sidney Portier. You know him as Sidney Portier.
Oh,
right?
my God.
And I used to, every time I would meet up with him, I would say, you kept me out of number 1. And he would laugh and smile. And that gentleman, that look, he's such a gentleman, and every time I said, you kept me out of number one. So one time he was getting ready to do, he had just finished doing Mandela, and I walked up to him and I bit my finger and I said, you kept me out, and he straightened up. He said, Sam, stop. First of all, young fella, I don't sing. Second of all, if you have a problem, get back with your record company. Get away from me. And I said, oh, he was singing real tall. And my wife was just dying because she knew he was going to get tired of me with that. So I said, oh, this kid, man. He said, well, get away from me, Sam. I didn't have kept you out of no number one. So, but other than that, Soul Man didn't bother me, because, it was just a parody, and it was fun.
And it was affectionate.
It was, yes.
I was going to say about Sydney, at least he didn't say to you, they call me Mr. Tibbs.
I would have died if I would have dropped.
You have been paid many compliments over the years by artists that have been influenced by you. None more than probably the biggest guy in rock and roll today, Bruce Springsteen. I'm curious to know how that relationship came about.
Bruce and I have been friends for over 40 some odd years. The first time Bruce, as he tells it, and I didn't know it at the time because I remember him coming to the clubs there in Asbury Park to see Sam and Dave when we were doing those 2 and 3 hour shows. But as he tells it, he came to Fort Dix the first time to see Sam and Dave. Actually, he said he came to see me because he liked the way I was dealing with the band and jumping all over the place and singing. He said he couldn't believe somebody was singing up the ceiling and singing and jumping all over the stage and the passion that I had. And Clarence and I were more friends at that time, acquaintances than Bruce. Bruce would come by Clarence's beach house when I would stay over sometime and then get back to New York. Mm-hmm. And he would come upstairs and say, when you get dressed, when you come down, Bruce is downstairs. Yeah, Bruce downstairs. When I come downstairs, he was sitting right by the door on the couch. Never said anything. The only thing he would say to me, hello, and I would say hello back, and never had a conversation. But we were friends. We turned out to be friends, and anytime he get a chance to, do things, sing and whatnot.
In fact, he gave you the call in the early 90s when he was doing the Human Touch album. You're represented on here on a number of tracks.
Okay.
What do you recall about working in the studio with Bruce?
The hardest working man in the world.
Yeah.
Because the way he writes is the way you have to sing. And you phrase the same. If you're going to phrase, you phrase the same because he's not going to take any words out. He's not going to excuse anything by making it comfortable for you, make it comfortable for yourself, but he's not going to take a word out of there. And so when I did the first, then he called me back for the second, and then while I was there for the second, we did the 2 and the 3, and we did 4, I think it was. And it was, I was having, usually I don't have that much of a problem with if I'm on a guest on someone's record or whatnot, an album. But I was having problems, getting those words fitted into the lyrics actually to the song.
Right.
And I went on back into and I think I said it to Joyce. I said, I'm having problems here. I can't, So she said, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Why are you telling me? Tell Bruce. I went over to Bruce and I said, hey, look. No, Sam, you're doing fine. You're doing great. I said, no. You come into the studio. Let me eyeball you. You eyeball me. Let me look at you and let's sing this thing. No, Sam. I said, no, I can't get this thing. So he came in grudgingly, and he sat down, and we got it over with. But other than that, if I had to just do what I heard over there, we would have been there until now.
The one we're going to play is the one called Man's Job from Human Touch by Bruce Springsteen on Mixed Bag Radio. That's Man's Job from Human Touch by Bruce Springsteen with his special guest, Sam Moore. We'll be talking more to Sam in just a minute. 2 down, 1 to go.
Okay.
Joyce, we want to mention specifically the DVD. Is it the DVD? Is it?
It's only the strongest, yeah, the DVD is the release, I don't know, when is this broadcast?
Approximately 2 months from now.
Oh,
Yeah,
it'll
well-
be out by then, because it's coming out in 10 days.
Okay.
Anyway, you might also want to mention, if you're mentioning Bruce Springsteen, when Sam did the shows, just Christmas with Bruce,
Right.
Sam has a new title, Compliments of Bruce. Bruce would introduced him all 3 nights as the greatest soul singer on planet Earth.
Not only that,
Not only that,
what he said was, we have with us tonight the greatest soul singer on the planet Earth, so hold on to your glasses, grab hold of your asses, and put your hands together for Sam Moore.
Yes, he did.
he said that?
You got the bootleg too, huh?
Did he say that? No, he didn't.
No,
I'm going to
no.
spank him. I'm going to spank his hands for that.
When they came up, they started to know that you got the bootleg. But what you can't see is that they're all, including Bruce, Jimmy Vivino, John Bon Jovi, everybody, they're going,
I love it. That's
as he's walking out, like, you know.
I was never so embarrassed in my life. I was never so embarrassed in my life.
those have to be great.
It was. I tell you, it was some good. It was some good funk up there on that stage. I tell you, Peter. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Vivino's dobro sitting in next door to be repaired.
How about yeah?
Yeah.
This is the place.
Yeah.
This is the place. Okay, segment 3. Pete Fornatale back with you on Mixed Bag Radio with my special guest today, Sam Moore. Sam, we know that it is hard for couples in a marriage to stay together.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it's hard for partners in business to stay together.
Absolutely.
And it's certainly hard for duos in music to stay together.
Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel come to mind. Even the Everly Brothers. The Everly Brothers.
How about that?
So I know that you and Dave parted company and got back together and parted company and got back together. Tell me something great about your partnership with Dave, and tell me something that tore the two of you apart.
Pete, we started, I'm not too sure. I'm still out to lunch, and I'm trying to put it as tactful as I can. I'm not too sure that if Dave and I hadn't been together, and I thought of this some weeks ago, that we would have gotten Soul Man. We would have gotten Hold On I'm Coming. Something is Wrong with My Baby. I'm still out to lunch on that. So we came to Memphis as a package. The package was worked well if the way Isaac had put the package to work, to surround me, to do what I had to do, it would have worked. But you must understand, we as a people sometimes we're weak. We listen. We don't listen to the heart. We listen with this, and we talk too much, and we let that talk get into the wrong places sometime. And those two things between in our head, between our ears. And it went from sugar to sugar. Okay. And I think I formulated the breakup because I knew within myself I knew I could sing. I knew I could sing more than just Soul Man. I'm going to sing Soul Man with Dave. I'm going to sing Hold On, I'm Coming with Dave. I'm going to sing Something Is Wrong with Dave. But I can sing more than Soul Man. And I can sing a lot of things if given the chance. But he became like the albatross to the point that the people that was with us, that we surrounded ourselves with, we did that to ourselves. No blame. You can't put a blame there. We surrounded ourselves with the people to the point that they said, well, I don't think you can do that, Sam. Nobody wants to hear you alone. Basically, you're not that good without Dave. Real. And pretty soon, my friend, again, listening, it starts to take its toll on you. And you say, well, maybe they're right. And then after I did the album, 33 years ago, and they didn't put it out. Since then, it's been straightened out. But at that time, I'm saying, and they didn't put it out, and heard one song one day, and they didn't hit it the next day. I said, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not that good with that Dave.
You start doubting yourself.
Start doubting yourself, and I went back. I let the manager, and all other people that around, I went back and said, hey, let's try it again. So when they came out with Soul Man and things like that, I came back to New York, and it's messed up again. I messed up myself, got messed up again. Then I left again, and I said, I don't want to hear no more about this. I left, and the next time I left Dave, for the last time, was I think it was 1981. And I said, I'm either going to get a break, somebody's going to listen to me, hopefully, or I'm just going to deal with this dope. Well, I didn't get the break, and I dealt with the dope.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, for 15 years.
15?
Yeah, 15 years, right here in this city.
What was the lowest point?
The lowest point is when my girlfriend at the time, we moved in on 51st at a hotel, a little flea-bitten hotel. It was only, $9, $10 a night, and we couldn't keep that up. And we were put out after 4 days, and we walked the street, and she and I slept in a car. We slept in a car. And when they would find me, sometimes to do a job, we would work for the dope dealer, work for the wet T-shirt night. We would work for a club that had the fake Elvises, and we opened for the fake Elvises. And the guy said, "You do 30 minutes. Because they knew." The word was already out, Sam and Dave's Junkies, If you can give us 30 minutes and get off the stage. And that was it. So that was the lowest.
What turned it around for you, Sam?
When I left Dave, and I said to Dave, I remember saying to Dave, I don't know where I'm going, Dave. I don't know whether I'm going to even be alive next week or tonight after I leave here. But I got to get myself together. I got to. But what I'd like to say to you is, let's keep the avenue open. The name still means something. It still means we can still play the venues, maybe 1,500, 900, maybe. But let's keep that open. Let's you and I communicate to the point of keeping the communicative lines open. Well, I'm pretty sure Dave was hurt by that time. I know he was hurt. And he was disappointed, and he didn't do it. And the next thing I knew, he had got a guy, and his name was Dave, and they went out, and I was still Sam Moore. And
well, that had to hurt.
It hurt so bad that I had to go too far as to suing this guy, cease and desist. And it was the same day that Brooke Benton passed. The night before. That night Dave died, and the next day Brooke Benton had passed. And I remember Joyce going to Jersey to go to the courts to issue a cease and desist to stop the Sam and Dave. Yes, it did, Pete. It hurt. It hurt so bad because this guy, yes, he was Dave. There was no question. We started Sam and Dave, and there was no. But if he had said, if they had have said, they prayed to Sam and Dave, nothing I could have done. It may have hurt. It may have bothered me, but there's nothing I could, because that's right, he was Dave. He was the original. But to go out and say you're Sam and Dave, or the original Sam and Dave, and then the lies that came behind it, that I had cancer. Then some said that I was the West Coast Sam and Dave, and he was the East Coast. And then somebody said, then the word got out that I had retired. Then I went to see the show in Vegas. They were in Vegas, and I went by this for cease and desist to drop the thing off. And I saw the guy and I went to school together.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I can sum it up in a sentence. If it ain't Sam Moore, it ain't Sam and Dave. End of story.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Pete.
Dave was killed in a car crash in 1988, I believe.
1988, yeah.
Ironically, a movie that you were a part of last year was called Only the Strong Survive.
Yes.
Could we apply the title of that picture to you?
Yes. I don't mind being called a survivor. It doesn't bother me one bit. Because for whatever I may have done mentally, physically, or emotionally, I did it to Sam. I did it to Sam Moore. They may have sold me the needle or the whatever you want to call it, but I'm the one who put the rope around my arm and did it. I'm the one who bought the drugs. No, I did not have anyone to say no, to say, I'll help you. I had to do this on my own. But I did survive, and I went from 118, and you can, if you look at me now, and I guess I'll sum it up in one, I'm back.
I love it.
I'm back.
I love it.
Yes.
Were you happy with the finished version of Only the Strong Survive?
Yes, and I'm so glad. I'm very pleased about it, and I'm glad that they added some more people. Because there are some people on there that didn't know that they're going to see, like Mac Rice, the man that wrote Mustang Sally and things of that nature, and they're going to see the young man that said, "You don't miss your water till you well," and stuff like that. And people, I can't stand the rain, and they equate that to Tina, but it's really Ann Peoples. So you're going to see some wonderful things.
Isaac's in there too.
Isaac in there
Didn't the
doing-
two of you do a couple of things together? Letterman, or am I
We
mistaken?
did. No, I did Letterman, and then he and I did Wayne Brady.
Okay.
And Leno.
All right, that was it. All right, well, you can see this for yourself on the recently released DVD, Only the Strong Survive. You do one of the classics associated with you in the film, Sam. What can you tell me about it?
I think I'm doing what, Soul Man?
No, we got When Something...
Something is wrong with my baby
Yeah.
and Soul Man, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think they say they've added. Did they say they added a song to it? Hold on, I'm coming. Okay, hold on, I'm coming.
I think we're going to do When Something Is Wrong with My Baby from the DVD of Only the Strong Survive.
Thank you.
That's Sam Moore from the soundtrack of Only the Strong Survive. The DVD, is available now. We heard When Something Is Wrong with My Baby. You have received many honors over the years, Sam. Which ones mean the most to you?
it 1992, I was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Tell me about that night.
I had a 24-hour flu, and with nerves. My nerves had come off. I like to believe also my nerves had a lot to do with it because I was nervous. And I think the most enjoyable thing was to walk up on stage and was standing there being inducted by Billy Joel, and he steps back. But as he's speaking, and I feel this little nice tap on the shoulder, and I turned around and I looked, and this guy said, "Hi, Sam. My name is Johnny Cash." Oh my God!
Oh,
Pete? Now can you imagine now?
Oh,
can you imagine?
That's the best.
That was the best. That was the best to feel that. It was a gentle tap, because Johnny was a tall, big man, and he just tapped me. I didn't know he knew me, I didn't know. And he said, "Hi, Sam. I'm Johnny Cash." Whew.
Lovely. Yeah. Just lovely. Couple of things. I've got a couple of things that I forgot to ask you earlier that I just want to touch upon real quickly.
Okay.
Being around Memphis as you were, ever any encounters with Elvis? Any?
Saw the shadow of him.
Couldn't miss it.
He was going to the studio, the same place where Dave and I recorded Stax, and they were recording him there.
Down there?
And he got out of a truck. They brought him in in a truck, and I saw this big hat, and I said, "Well, who is that?" "Oh, that was Elvis Presley." "Oh, okay," but they wouldn't let us back in, so no, I never met him. No.
Now, another friend of yours, and on the surface, one would not think of a connection with this particular musician, but apparently there was a friendship between you and Henry Mancini.
Henry Mancini, yes.
Tell me about that relationship.
Yeah, Hank and I, that was a tribute to Joe Williams in Las Vegas, and they put Henry. Well, I call him Hank. We all call him Hank, who knew him, and we shared the same dressing room. And he's sitting at the piano and he's practicing the Pink Panther, and he's talking to me. And I don't know this man, no. My work, I don't, and Henry Mancini, So he gets up, and it's time for him to go on because he wants to get the late flight because he wants to catch his daughter's show, right, in L.A. Mm-hmm. So he puts this tie on, and he turns to me, and he said, "What do you think, Sam? You like it?" And, me, I'm my mouth, I said, "Hank, I got to tell you, that's the most ugliest tie I've ever seen in my life." And he stops and he looks at me and he said, "Who in the hell asked you?" And he turned around and walked outside. And I stood there, and the closure on this, I was standing there getting ready to wait on him to go back to the hotel, and I hear the Pink Panther.
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that nice?
That's lovely.
Yeah. I've run into some wonderful people in my life. As much negative as I've had, I don't complain.
I'm going to ask you about one more because I know it's someone dear to your heart and involves a project that you and Joyce are working on, and that's Mary Wells. Mm-hmm. Now, Mary was Motown.
Yes.
And you were Stax Volt.
Yes.
How did those paths cross?
Well, Joyce knows the story much better than I, but Mary and I know each other. Mary passed, but you know what? She left a wonderful little girl, Sugar, that we have now taken under our wings and our hearts and our love. And she just left the house last week.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, and hopefully she's 17 now. And this year she'll be 18, right? This year she'll be 18. And hopefully she's going to come back she said 2 weeks from now. And hopefully she's going to live with us.
Does she want to perform?
Well, yeah, my granddaughter, my wife and my granddaughter, they the other day they said, they came in and they were sitting at the kitchen table, and I said, "Oh, sugar," I said, "you know, you want to sing, baby?" I said, "I'll sing." And you know what, the both of them, they were so mean. "No, don't sing, don't sing, sugar." Oh, I said, "Don't be so mean to her." And I said, "Baby," I said, "you can sing, but your question, no, she can't sing."
You're in trouble now.
I know. She's gonna tell. She's gonna tell Marquisha about it. That's okay.
I know you're trying to raise money. You're
Yes.
involved in fundraising, specifically for what, Sam?
No,
No,
I don't think so.
Oncology, the renaming the oncology center at Norris USC.
Oh yeah. You know about that?
Well, you know, that was the thing that Dr. Streeter, that Oscar.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you said that, Peter, because now we can go back and give that some more attention. It stopped for a while, and a lot of people that were supposed to have come aboard, whatever reason they didn't. But it gives us something now to go back and talk to Dr. Streeter and the rest of the staff out at Norris and to try to raise the funds. It's not that much, but it'll give us a chance to give attention to.
And it's to have the wing
renamed
after
in her
her.
honor. Yes.
Is there a website or somewhere where people can get information?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
It wound up deorganizing because of some things that were going on at Norris, as well as the timing of it, just things kind of didn't, so, and there was a very little window to have raised the money, to have named the wing.
Oh, I
So
see.
they went ahead, somebody came along as a benefactor with a huge check, they named the wing, but we're still looking to do something, so there's, it's
Well,
still in.
please keep us posted if there's
We'll
any way
do.
we can help you
Promise
spread
you
the
we'll
word.
do that. We'll do that.
We'll
Thank
be
you,
happy
Pete,
to do it.
for saying that. Yes, thank you.
Sam, your place in music history is solid. There's only one way I can think of ending this first-time visit to Mixed Bag Radio, and that is to say, I thank you.
And may I say, thank you back. Thank you, Pete.
You know what you're going to be playing
Oh,
there.
no.
All right, I just have to put an ending on this, and we'll
Okay.
let you out of here.
Okay.
Stand by.
Okay.
And that just about does it for this edition of Mixed Bag Radio. My thanks to the great Sam Moore for being our guest. Thanks also to executive producer Bill Kolar, to Vice President in charge of Artist Relations Chris Hall, and Vice President in charge of syndication Linda Fetter. Special thanks this week to the Gibson Baldwin Showroom in New York City. If you'd like to know more about our program, please visit our website at mixedbagradio.com. This is Pete Fornatale. Thanks for listening. And thank you for being here today, Sam.
Thank you, my
Glad we
friend.
can get it
Thank you.
together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can we get a quick promo? Can you write something up to say?
Oh, Sam, would you mind doing an ID for us?
I don't read very well. Are you going to mouth it to me?
Dogging around.
Dogging around. Dogging me around. Yeah, right. Oh, gosh.
I believe you know Mr. Willie Nile.
Hey, Willie.
Hi, Willie.
Came back. Came to see you this morning.
Did he?
Yeah, he came back.
Really? Wow. Hi, Willie.
He said he,
Nice seeing you also. Thank you. You know Carolyn, do you? Please.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that's all it is, stories. Oh, gosh. Okay.
It's Fornatale. The E is silent.
Fornatale. Oh, gosh. You know, it's so. Oh, God. Italiano?
Oh, yes.
Aha.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
Yes,
Yes. I go to Italy and I overeat every time. Okay?
Hard not to.
Oh, God, isn't it? I can eat the tomatoes over there, but I can't eat them here. Hi, this is. Oh, you ready? Okay. Hi, this is Sam Moore, and you're now listening to Mixed Bag Radio with Pete Fornatale. Hey, Fornatale. Okay. You want to try it again? Okay. Hi, this is Sam Moore, and you're now listening to Mixed Bag Radio with Pete Fornatale. That's a cute name. You like that? Thank you, my friend. Thank you. All my friends, I do them like Bruce said, never another.
That was great.
Can we, photo opportunity?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
Where would you like?
Let's go to the,
Oh, that's right,
Oh, you got your sign?
Gibson up there something.
Oh,
We could do in front of the mixed bag sign in Linda's office.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could do it in front of the mixed bag sign. in
Okay.
Linda's office.
Right here?
This is good? Okay.
Should we stand in front of the?
No, you'll be standing up there next to each other, right?
Okay.
It's a Gibson sign right behind you.
Oh, okay. Oh, get Gibson.
You got that?
Okay. All right. Yeah. You showing off.
This new technology. Do you have a website, Sam?
It's down right now, we're changing webmaster.
Yes.
But here's, if you can,
No flash, is that all right?
That's what I wanted to do. Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I ask you?
Hey, look, Pete.